everyone. How are we doing tonight? Well, welcome to this evening's performance at the Millennium stage, brought to you by Target and the Marriott Foundation. We're so happy to have you. At this time, I'm going to ask you to turn off your cell phones. Any photography or video recording is strictly prohibited during this performance. Millennium stage is brought to you 365 days a year, every evening at 6 p.m. All of our performances are broadcast live and archived on our website at www.kennedy-center.org. Now, he's made appearances at the Montreal Just for Laughs Festival. Please welcome to the stage, Anthony DeVito.
I didn't know. I thought we were going to shake. Man, I didn't know. Oh, man. How are you guys doing? This is a beautiful theater. Holy shit. I'm used to just pizza places. This is unbelievable. Wow, man, I just keep getting hairier. I don't know what point you're legally a cat, but that's where I seem to be. The issue that I have is the hair on my body, it's not distributed evenly. Like, if you're a girl and you're looking at my face and you're like, well, if that's a preview of what's underneath, no way. I'm not going near that, But when I take off my shirt, it's not really bad. But then I take off my pants, and that's where it's all kept. So if you're seeing me naked for the first time, it's got to be like watching the end of a horror movie. Just because you know the bad guy, then you think he's gone. Then you're like, oh, he's not dead. He is. Comes back in the end, I guess. I'm white, by the way. Yeah, but I get to the airport pretty early. 4:30 flight. I'm there 6 in the morning. I have not had shoes on for a week. So what happens is they'll pull me out of line at the gate every single time, and they take my license. They just want to know my name, where I'm from, and it makes everything worse. My name is Anthony DeVito from New Jersey. So... yeah, not only do I look suspicious, but I sound like what you do to make up an Italian. I mean, unless you know a guy named Italy Lasagna from Chicken Cutlet Island, it's almost like my terrorist group just ran out of money and then forgot they had to get fake IDs. Just like, sorry, we fucked up, so you gotta be Diego Taco Truck from Nachoville Cucaracha Noise forever. Racism, I feel it's something that'll die out eventually just because everybody's fucking everybody. So more and more races are mixing. In 100 years, racists are going to have to be so specific. They're going to have to be like, these goddamn quarter Mexican, half Jew, quarter Koreans are ruining this country. I mean, with their taco bank laundromats. It's not right. My last day job was really weird. I work from home. Has anyone ever worked from home? Clap your hands. Has anyone ever done that? Yeah, fucking casual Fridays, super casual. It's not just a Hawaiian shirt and sandals. You could jerk off and take a nap. It's pretty unbelievable. So what I did is a Republican conservative news website. They hired me to every day delete all their racist and homophobic user comments. So business was pretty good. We're doing just great. We're killing, man. We're doing better than we should have, really. The problem is, like, positive things would happen in the news, and then I would just be rooting against it. When Michael Sam came out, he's the first gay football player. Like, all my friends were like, isn't that so great? I was like, he's gay and black? I want to go to the park tomorrow. Now I got to work a double. That's real good. That's excellent. Homophobia, that's a weird one to me. I don't get it. If you're homophobic, that sucks for you. Really does. Because you're missing out on a huge part of life. You can't enjoy gay people. Flamboyant, over-the-top gay men, those are the most entertaining people on planet Earth. Cancel cable. Go to Starbucks. They're the greatest. I used to work with this black gay guy named Larry. He used to call himself Larry Legend. And we were talking once in the store. It was just freezing. I was just trying to make conversation. I was just like, oh, Larry, it's cold in here. And he looked at me and he goes, cold? It is chilly willy penguin bones up in this bitch. Man, I've never got that entertaining an answer from a straight guy ever in my life. If I was talking to a friend of mine, I was like, it's hot in here. It'd be like, it is. We should get some pussy. That'd be the end of it. It would just stop there. That's what I mean. It would just be over. But I guess if you're homophobic, you don't want to talk to a gay guy. You just think they're going to talk about butts and dicks. And it's true sometimes. But, man, you're just missing out on money. Chili Willy penguin bones? I mean, they're giving away ideas for children's books. And be a part of that. My girlfriend right now, her big thing she would like to do, she'd like to put a finger in my butt. And yeah, it sounded like that was happening to you at the moment. It's like, woo! Yeah, I don't know. I don't care. But guys will get nervous about that. They'll be like, you put a finger in my butt. What if I find out I'm gay? What? You're nervous that a finger in your butt is gonna make you gay? Well, then you're gay. Yeah. Yeah, you're a finger in the butt away from being gay? You are a gay man. I mean, I get it, because gay people, they like things in their butt. They also like things in their mouth. That's never treated with the same fear. Somebody's like, hey, man, you want something to eat? You're just like, no, thanks, I'm straight. No, I don't. Just tubes. That's what I do. I don't eat, actually. Yeah, I date a lot of introverts, girls that don't believe in themselves. And it sucks. What sucks is because you end up building up their self-esteem and then you create a monster. Because every day you're like, I think you're beautiful. I think you're the greatest. They're like, yeah, I am. What am I doing with you? And then they leave forever. So that's why a healthy relationship, you got to give the other person compliments, but then you got to also let them know you're the only one who feels that way. You're going to be like, I think you're beautiful. I think you're the greatest. But not everybody sees things the way I do. No. Most people hate you. I don't know. I love you, but they hate you. I don't know what's wrong with them. I'm on your side. But everybody, like everybody. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really been with a lot of girls. I'd like to, but they got to be into it. Rules are rules. But a friend of mine, he was asking me about it. He was like, how many girls have you ever slept with? What's your number? And then my number was so low that he was like, all right, just how many people have ever seen your penis? And I don't know the answer to that, but that's a way more interesting group. Like, if you put my mom, Dr. Michael Scapatulo, some random Gap employee, all in the same room, that's all they would have in common. That's how I'm going to organize one table at my wedding. Just one. Watch them figure it out over time. You know? Just ex-girlfriend, college roommate, some guy that works at my gym, the wild card. Just because, like, in the beginning, they're going to be like, how do you know Anthony? But then 2 hours into it, they're going to be like, have we all seen his dick? What the fuck is this? Jesus Christ. No wonder there's a dog at the table. It makes a lot of sense. They see it. They see it sometimes. They see it. I don't know. I guess I'm 32 years old. I'm at an age, I guess I should be getting married. Everybody's married, all my friends. Everyone always talks about marriage being an institution. If that's true, it's Harvard. But not everybody belongs in an Ivy League school right away. Some people got to go to DeVry and transfer. That's why there should be junior marriages. Right now, the curriculum is way too strict. I got to be there and love someone every day forever? Fuck you. 2 days a week for 5 years. Yeah, online. Just start from there. Work from there. It's a better move. A lot of my friends too. A lot of people are having kids as well, and then they always say the same thing. They're always like, "Being a parent, most difficult job in the world." Yeah, really? It's the easiest one to get. I want to work here. Well, you work here. So easy, you could become one. You don't even want to be one. I don't want to work here. Well, you stayed in the store too long. Now you work here. How about that? My grandmother is actually getting married. I swear, yeah. Yeah, I thought it'd be me first, but, you know, what are you going to do? Yeah, she's 89 years old, and her boyfriend is 54. Yeah, scandalous. Oh, man, all right. Thanks. I'll relay the message to Grandma Vicky that you guys are all on board. But yeah, no, he's 54, she's 89. She's also deaf. He's blind. He has one leg. They met in a nursing home, and it's an interracial relationship. And I've never felt more pressure in my life to write a joke. Just never. Doing this for my career. She's got to be. It's funny, I was talking to my mom about it. I was like, isn't that crazy? My mom goes, I know. I can't believe she's dating a black guy. Wow. I can't believe that's the part you can't believe. We just met a decaying pirate, and you're hung up that his hair's a little fuzzy. Wow, Joanne. That's something. My mom, she's a beautician, and she was just like, I don't know, I just think, you know, black should be with blacks, white should be with whites. And I was like, well, that's pretty fucked up. Okay. And she goes, no, whoever you love, you love. That's a beautiful thing. It's just that black people, their hair is really thick, and then it's going to make our hair tougher, and I got to cut it. So, yeah, that's where my mom's at. She's a hairdresser first, human being second. That's where she's at. You know, that's where she is. She's also, my mom's also 100% convinced the whole marriage is sexually motivated. This is what she said to me. She goes, legally, which already, my mom's not a lawyer, so whatever's next is bullshit. But she goes, legally, if they get married, then they can sleep in the same room, then they can do whatever they want to do. And I was trying to egg her on. I was like, what do they want to do? And then she thought about it for a second, and she goes, I don't even know if they could do it. Probably just hand jobs. I mean, first of all, you got to give me a heads up if you're going to tell me the grossest thing I've ever heard. And second of all, nobody's marrying my grandmother for the hand jobs. She has severe arthritis. Her fingers are like eagle talons. If anything, that's why you would. And you'd be like, I would, but not with those Wolverine claws. So get away from me, you talking rake. I get nervous. This is going to sound weird, but I get really nervous because I'm 32. I'm at the exact age my mom and dad met. He died when I was a baby. She's never had any other boyfriends her whole entire life, and I look exactly like him. So every time she's like, you look really nice today, I'm like, you don't want to fuck me, right? I mean, I got a lot on my plate right now. I can't really deal with that as well. I swear to God, this Christmas, she was like, you should buy a leather jacket. Your dad used to wear leather jackets. I was like, no, I think I'm good. I'll probably shave my head and get a nose job. Just get away from his look as much as I can. Yeah, all right. Not everybody loves that joke, but, you know. It's all right. Fair is fair, everybody. All right. I'm an only child. My mom, she never wanted me to feel alone as a kid. So my whole entire childhood, I had bunk beds. But I never had a brother to sleep in the top bunk. So kids would come over, I just look like a widow who puts out an empty plate every night for a dead husband. Just like, that's where my brother sleeps. He'll be back any day. Yeah, I'm 32, not old, but I read the life expectancy in the Middle Ages was 28 years old. 28, that means they didn't know anything that happened to the human body beyond 28. They didn't know about menopause, your balls dropping, diarrhea farts. They didn't know about anything, just nothing. But that's the thing, we keep living longer and longer. There has to be things we don't know about just because nobody's ever lived that long. You know those dark brown spots that elderly people get on their skin? Yeah, what if those aren't old age spots? What if at some point all white people become black people? Yeah, what if everything happens for a reason? Like, you keep shrinking. That combines with the brown spots. 175, everybody's a Mexican baby. Everybody. All right, man, you guys ready for your headliner? All right, you guys are going to absolutely love her. Might have seen her on Comedy Central's Half Hour, NBC's Last Comic Standing. Put your hands together for Rachel Feinstein, everybody!
Thank you so much, you guys. Keep it going for Anthony DeVito. Thank you. Thank you. It's so good to be back here. It's so good to be back home. I've been on the road for a while. I was in Alabama. I had a weird show there. I was in the middle of my show, and I asked if they had any Jews there, which I guess was a dumb question. And it just got like real quiet and sort of clansy. And then this one man just stood up in the middle of my show, and he just goes, "There's the Jew. She's over there." And he just pointed at like a loose Jew in the back of the room. Just a rogue Jew. I'm like, you're tracking your Jews? And they'll send anybody to pick up the comedian at the airport. Like when we're traveling, when we're on the road, the comedy clubs, they don't give a shit about us. They'll just send like any sex offender to go pick us up. And they sent this guy in Alabama. You know when you meet someone and just right away you're like, oh, you're buck shit crazy. Like as soon as I met him, he was just bubbling with insanity, you know? I get into his car. This is the first thing he said to me. It's what he felt comfortable just opening with. He just goes, "Do you own a gun? Because you've got to be ready to protect your family." I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, oh my God. I'm like, I don't even have a family. I mean, I'm pregnant, but not for long. Is that what we needed here at the Kennedy Center? A fun-loving abortion joke to really kick out the jams here? I think it might be. He was so mad that I didn't have a gun. He's like, "You gotta have a gun. I got my Jesus gun. I got my Mary gun." He'd named his guns. It was very distressing. And he was telling me how he was going to kill someone if they broke into his home. That's all we talked about all weekend. Because his job was just like that. He would pick me up, not job. He was, like I said, I think he might have been a registered sex offender. I'm sure he had a couple of priors. He was just like hanging around the club, and they're like, deal with this girl and drive her back and forth. So he'd pick me up from the hotel, and he'd take me to the club, and literally we'd be in like silence for a few minutes. And again, it's never fully silent. It's always sizzling with his insanity. But then he would just say something like, "I tell you how I'm gonna get him if they come through my north door." And he was talking about his apartment. I'm like, that's how you refer. I think that's distress. I'm like, you're not in the military. I think it's just your front door. That's it. That makes me think you have a plan somewhere. There's like a map, and that's distressing. He's like, "I tell you how I'm gonna get him. Tell you how I'm gonna get them fucking bandits." He goes, "If they come through my north," he was getting so excited. Like you could tell he was one of these people like nothing would have made him more upset than if no one ever broke into his home. Like that's his dream. That's what he beats to every night, you know? And he gets to kill them all in some kind of blaze of American glory, and they carry him around the room like a hero afterwards and sprinkle Gatorade and pussy on him or whatever he thinks is gonna happen. His bumper sticker just had a picture of an AK-47, and it just said, "I don't dial 911. I'm like, that's a confusing policy, Butch. What do you do if your grandma has a stroke? Do you shoot her in the face? And then he took me back at the end of the weekend. I don't know if you've had this experience with someone where like they think you've been slowly falling in love and you've been actively terrified the entire time you're with them. But we pulled up at the airport, and he had this kind of soft, like slow jam expression that I didn't care for. And he goes, "I just wanted to say I thought we shared some pretty special times together." And I was like, "Don't you fucking kill me. Don't you do it." And he goes, "And I just wanted to say that I thought you was very special, and you was the first Jewish I had ever known." He told me I was his first Jewish, so I was really aroused. And he had this weird duffel bag with him. It was very disturbing, just this strange man sack, and he like was slowly leaning into it. I'm like, what the hell is going to be in there? And he pulled out a drawing he had made for me of the Star Wars Death Star. That was my parting gift. These are the suitors I get. Like every woman, I've been dreaming of that moment that a man is going to get down on one knee and hand me an unstable etching of the Death Star. I didn't even know what that was. I had to have another adult loser explain it to me when I got home. And then he went back, he had another trick in his psychotic sack. So we went back in there. I'm like, oh, what else is in this love sack for me? And he pulled out a painting he had made of a Star of David. It was one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen. Like, he will kill. You could take one look at this, you'd know. He'll kill soon. And he, like, whipped it out, and he started like, flapping it in my face. And he just was flapping it at me, and he was making these, like, weird sounds. He was like, come on, there she goes. There she go. Come on, come on. This happened to me, you guys. Now I'm here. But a little while ago, I was in a fucking Oldsmobile having someone flap a Star of David in my face, making weird fuck sounds at me. He's going, yeah, come on, And he just kept flapping it, and I realized, I think this is what was happening. I think he thought that that's all you have to do to fuck a Jew. Like, maybe his uncle told him that when he was a kid or something. Like, if you ever want to fuck a Jew, you just gotta flap a Star of David in the Jew's face. Keep flapping it there. Be patient. It may take a while. Pretty soon, once the Jew's ready to be entered, their skin's gonna turn like the color of money. Once it's at that sweet currency color, that's when the Jew just be like, stick it in. So we live together now, and I've never felt so safe. Been dating a guy a lot older than me for a while. I didn't even really notice the age difference until he started bathing me in the sink. We'd fight a lot. Like, one of our big fights is he'd always get mad at me because, like, every time we'd hook up, he always wanted me to do, like, a sexy dance for him. Like, I'll put on, like, lingerie or something, but I'm not going to do a fucking jig. It's too ridiculous. I'm sorry that I don't have a jazzy number I've prepared for you. It's not America's Got Talent. I'm like, can't I just give you money to go to a strip club or something? Finally, I just, like, put on a bikini and I did the Charleston above his bed. He was very angry and flaccid. Yeah. He was just, gently weeping by the time I was done Charlestoning. I sang a lot of Yiddish show tunes. They didn't seem to work for him either. I finally gave him his lap dance. I was grinding on him, but I was also going, your smile is my umbrella. How much is that doggy in the window? A lot of songs for Fiddler on the Roof that weren't working for him either. He's no longer aroused by women. I like to joke immediately after sex. I don't know if anyone else does. I don't think there needs to be any, like, gentle gazing period after sex. I feel like sex is done and now it's joke time. I like to throw change at a man after sex. That's very funny to me, personally. I just like to take some coins and toss them. His dumb, like, post-sex man body, and just say something like, shh, less is more out of you, okay? Take those coins and you shut the fuck up about what happened in this room. What happened right here is disgusting. Now, why don't you go out and buy yourself something special? Because you're beautiful and you're worth it. One of our biggest fights was because he caught me, like, moving the change jar next to the bed, like I was getting it ready ahead of time. And he got so mad at me. He's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I tried to argue that I was, like, getting it ready, like I was preparing, and that, because he was always telling me that, like, I acted like a child. He's like, you're such a fucking child getting the change ready. You ever make an argument, and you're, like, in the middle of it, and you're like, this is ridiculous. I can't even believe he's listening to it for a fucking moment. But you just decide to stick with it to see how long you can play it off. So you're like, I can't even believe he's allowing me to speak this long. But my argument was that I was actually being very mature and adult because I was planning ahead by getting the change ready. I was like, I think it's actually an improvement for it. And he was just sitting there. I'm like, you're listening? Wow, I don't even know what I should say next. This is wild bullshit, clearly. But he tolerated it. I also like to pretend like the guy tricked me into the sex. Like, the moment it's done, I'm realizing it's been a big ruse, you know? And I'm kind of obsessed with those old films from the 40s. So the moment sex is done, I like to be like, well, I don't understand what that all had to do with helping the children. Wait a second. Now, you said if we did all them awful things, those children would get their cure for polio. It was all a lie, wasn't it? I suppose I didn't need to be on my hands and knees after all, now did I? And it didn't help the war effort either, did it? Those children and those soldiers are no better for the godless things I've done. And I guess the joke's on me laying here all covered in sin. he would not play the polio game with me. I feel like the right guy is going to be like, listen up, sugar tits. Those children never had a goddamn chance. They are mangled with polio as we speak. Clean yourself up, for Christ's sake. I have no formal education. I could only come up with mangled. That to me is an actual ailment. I was just fucking mangled. So we broke up. I went out with this guy, though. He wasn't, there was a sadness to it. I know that was it. I went out with this guy. He wasn't like a douche, but he was a tool. I feel like there's an important difference. I think a douche is worse than a tool. Like, a douche is like some guy named like Chad, and his parents have a lake house, and he likes to like fuck girls there, like side by side next to his best friend Tucker, and they high five while they're fucking him, like a douche is the kind of guy that doesn't even like to softly hold women. Like, he's like, I don't gently touch women, bro. I'm not fucking gay, all right? Fuck him next to my best friend, and we hold hands while we're fucking him. You know I can't bang chicks unless I can smell you, Tucker. Gotta be able to smell your Axe body spray, bro, or I cannot achieve an erection for some reason. That's called Eiffel Towering, by the way, when two guys hold hands while they're having sex next to each other. You're gonna need that later, I'm assuming. But he was a tool. Like, a tool's not as bad as a douche. Like, I feel like a tool's more innocent than a douche. Like, if you could read a transcript of a douche's thoughts, you'd be furious by the time you just want to punch him in his dumb douche face. But I feel like a tool's thoughts would be, like, more kindly. Like, I feel like a tool's thoughts would just be more innocent. It would be like, I like to wear my socks and my flip-flops. It feels fantastic. Where are my sunglasses, bro? Oh, yeah, they're on the back of my neck. And he was just like a kindly tool, but I wanted to like him. You ever been out with somebody you just want to like him just because you're wildly lonely? You just need them to be better than they really are, Like, he was so stupid, but I needed him to be smart for my own purposes, so I could like prop him up and take him to shit, so I didn't have to be alone places. And he was like a wild moron, but I was giving him way too much credit. I wanted to like him, so everything he said, I'd be like, well, that was good. You put that together with another thing you said before. Actually, that was fantastic work, Brody. Very good. I think you might understand a few basic principles, so this is going great. And he just wanted me to put out, so we were working together on this shared mission. And at the end of the night, he was trying to get me to come over to his place, and I didn't want to like have sex with him, but I was trying not to like cock tease him or whatever. And I like to go over and just like make out and cuddle, and my friends make fun of me. They're like, stop doing that. No one wants to have your strange Christian sleepovers with you that you're orchestrating. Like, stop it, it's unacceptable. But I tell them ahead of time because I don't want to tease them, so I'm like, I try to give a very like detailed clinical account, like, because I don't want them to think it's like a game. Like, I'm gonna pretend I'm not gonna fuck you. I'm like, no, really, here's what's gonna happen if I come over. I'm like, we can make out, but you'll have a semi for the next 9 hours. I'm like, if I was your sexual attorney, I'd recommend that you don't take this deal. It's not a good deal for you. All I can say is tits are complimentary. That's what we're offering at this point. And he was nice about it because he was a tool. Like, a douche would have been like, fuck that shit. I just fuck girls with my dick. That's it. With Tucker nearby, gently face raking me while I'm beside them. He was a tool. So he was like, tits. He was fine with my dumb terms. He did send me a dick pic the next day, though. You never get a dick pic when you're expecting one. It's never like you're checking your inbox, like, where the hell is that dick? Supposed to be here 4 hours ago. It's foolish. Dick pics are hysterical. Just this rogue dick. It's ridiculous. As women, when we get something like that, we just laugh. It's hilarious. It's completely different from you guys getting a naked picture. Because if you get a naked picture of a woman, as a man, it's exciting because it means that you might have sex with her. But for women, it's like we already know that there can be dick. So it's not like we get it and we're like, ooh, wait a second, so dick is available? Like, that's why it's so hilarious. We're like, we already know that dick is there if we choose to call upon it. Like, we don't need like a naughty little reminder. Like, I think dick might be an option tonight. Let me change up my schedule. I once sent like a dirty picture to the wrong person. I don't know if anyone else has ever done that. Like, any of you are gonna fucking admit, just be silence and judgment. But Yeah, like my boyfriend that I'm dating now, like he wanted me to send him a picture and like, and I sent it to the wrong guy, and it was lazy. It was like a relationship selfie. Like it was just like a bra and underwear, but the underwear was like slovenly. There was like some change by my foot that I noticed after I sent it. Just like some debris lying there, like a few coins, a receipt, then half a muffin. It was disgusting. And I call my friend. I'm like, oh my God. You're not going to believe who I just accidentally sent a picture of myself, like in my bra and underwear with like some coins by my foot and a receipt. And we both know this guy, and it's like not okay. Like he's like married and he has kids, and I just sent him this weird picture of myself with like some muffin by my foot, and I'm like horrified. I've honestly never been so humiliated in my life. My friend was like, if it makes you feel any better, I'll send him one too. And I'm like, thank you. She did. Another comic, actually. Amy Schumer, very funny girl. She'll be glad I told you this. But it's another comic that I accidentally sent it to. So she's like, if it makes you feel any better, I'll send him one too. And I'm like, yes, please. So she sent him a picture of like her crotch and some like heinous baggy green sweatpants. So, and like her hand just like gently resting like near her crotch area. So this guy's wife is probably like going through his phone like, oh my God, my husband is cheating on me with the most disgusting women imaginable. She's probably like, I don't even know if I should bother bringing this up. He's clearly never going to leave me for either of these pigs. I don't see it being an issue. I don't know if anybody does this, but like, so I lay around like a lot during the day because, you know, like, and I'll get up like and watch like, I'll have like a lot of things to do, and then instead what I like to do is watch like 7 hours of like Law and Order back to back, you know? And then like I watch a lot of murder, you know? I think it's because like, it makes you feel like an amazing person. Like, if you watch, like, 3 forensic files back-to-back, like, you really think you're running a tight ship in your life, you know? Like, I watch, like, a few murder shows. I'm just lying there, like, judging. I'm just like, I'm thinking I'm an amazing person. I'm like, I've never even thought about killing a hooker. I don't have the slightest impulse. Things are on point in my life while I'm sending, like, a heinous picture of my crotch to some married guy I don't know very well. Just like eating cake at 4 p.m. You know, it's become like a verb. I'm just laying in bed like caking, and I'm like, I'm a good person. I've never had to frantically clean up blood spatter. I run a tight ship. I do the same thing with Facebook. I like to look at other people's Facebook pages and like just judge them and feel better about myself, you know, that I wouldn't post something that dumb. It's gotten to the point now, like, I like take pictures of people's statuses on Facebook that piss me off, and then I just mail them out in the mornings. Like, I think I'm really crossing something off my list. I'm like, look what this dickhead just put on Facebook, and I send it out to my other friends. But you ever think that somebody's a reasonable person, and then you see the shit they put on Facebook, and you just have to reorganize your entire idea of them? And it's never the people you think, too. Like, I think the problem with Facebook is that I think some people don't understand what Facebook is. Like, some people know that Facebook is a social media site where you put up pictures and invite people to events occasionally, but I think some people think that Facebook is some sort of a god that you tell your darkest secrets to every hour. They're like, thank God I found this all-encompassing God that I can say anything to. My darkest, most sinister thoughts and vulnerable fears. And it's never the people you think. Like, you'll be like, oh, shit, I had no idea. Guess who's going buck shit on Facebook? Like, I became friends with my accountant on Facebook. I thought he seemed like a reasonable, stable man. I'm extremely concerned about him. Like, I looked at his status, and he just wrote, divorce is shattering. I've never felt so frightened and confused in my life. And then he goes, I have so few friends in this world. There are so many toxic people out there, and I can't take this anymore. He goes, I don't know who to love or who to trust. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, Russell! Are you sure you can handle my 2014 returns? I think you're in a very dark place right now. And then a few hours later, there'll be like a picture of some pasta that he ate. I'm like, oh, I guess he's stabilized. Thank God. Judging by the kale salad he's just posted, I think he's in a better mood. It's been an emotional roller coaster for me, though. I don't know how I'm going to recover today. And a lot of people like to take a lot of stances on Facebook, and they put their thought out for the day. Sometimes people even like announce it. They'll be like, this will be the last thing I'll be saying on this subject. I'm like, I never wanted to fucking hear from you in the first place. We worked at like Uno's Pizzeria when I was 15, and now I have to hear your ongoing stream of consciousness. It's like in my head every day. He just wrote, like, this will be the last statement. Like, you're not the president. There's not a press corps following you around. We'd all like to hear less. And then I think it's like they start to think they're like the king, like they're Caesar. They put their thought out, like, let the peasants sort it out now. I've spoken. And it'd be the dumbest thing, too, like that Tool I went out with. This is what he put on Facebook. And it's always the dumbest people that take on the most complicating topics, you know? And they give you the final word on them, and it's always the dumbest idea possible or, you know, way of thinking about it. His status was just, people, we need to put an end to genocide once and for all. That's it. Like, he declared genocide was done. He will no longer be tolerating genocide. And then he just stood back, like, and I won't be saying any more about... Really? We wanted more of your Tool thoughts about genocide. I'm so disappointed. You really shook things up for me. You shattered my whole perspective. I was staunchly pro-genocide before I read that. The problem is, like, a few people like the shit, and then they think they're starting a movement. And I think it's the people that like that fucking shit are just as much responsible. You know, it's like Hitler had followers, the people that, like, check that. Like, his Aunt Judy's like, that was a good thought, Brody. Very good perspective on genocide or whatever. And then that's it. Then that person thinks they're starting a movement. Like, they think they're the Cesar Chavez of Facebook, and the people need them to continue. I just want, like, another choice besides like. I want to be able to choose, like, I now think you're unstable or something. I've been traveling a lot. I was like home for a while. My mom really wants to be black. She like works with all these black women. She's a social worker, and one of the women in her, she's like aggressively white, but somebody that she works with told her that she has soul. So I think now my mom's getting very cocky. Like, she thinks she's like Wiz Khalifa or something. Like, my mom thinks she's the truth since this woman told her this shit. And, like, I think what happened was they were probably, like, bored one day and someone was like, Keisha, let's tell white Karen she has soul today. It's going to be really funny. So, yeah, that's it. Now my mom thinks she's young Jeezy or whatever. And they've taken her to MC battles. I think they think it's hilarious. They're like, let's take white Karen to a battle. And my mom's getting very cocky. Like, she has, like, opinions about the rapper. She'll be like, I didn't like the rapper that won the battle. I didn't think he was from the streets. I'm like, and then she always tells people how she's an amazing dancer. She goes, I'm a very soulful dancer. People always say I should have been born black. I'm incredibly, naturally soulful. Her dancing is, she kind of dances like she's stirring herself. It's just this very hostile frontal stirring. There's a lot of like sideways accusatory glances. I think she wants to be one of those white women in the movies that saves a black school. I think that's her dream. Like, she wants to be like Michelle Pfeiffer in like Dangerous Minds, or like Sandra Bullock in The Blind Side. Like, my mom's dream is that she has like a special relationship with a kid named Trey. That's all she wants in her life. She wants to be like the one sassy lady in a black leather jacket that got through to Trey when no one else got, yeah. And she wants to struggle with Trey. She doesn't want them to just be friends. She wants like Trey to get up and try to leave and be like, yo, fuck this shit, man. You don't know nothing about me. You don't know what I've been through in my life. Can't do this shit no more, man. Going back to the streets, man. Fuck you. Fuck you, Karen. You don't know shit about me, you white bitch. She'd be like, go ahead and run, Trey. Just go ahead and run. You wanna know the truth about me, Trey? I've seen things, too. I have pistol whipped over 500 men in my life, Trey. I started the Illuminati, and I'll end it when I fucking feel like it. All right, Trey? So get off my dick. And then Trey will come back like, I'm saying, boo, I just want to create some appropriate boundaries with you, that's all. I got 2 parents that love me at home. You keep trying to call my house and adopt me. This is very uncomfortable for our family. What do you need from me? I mean, you thick and all, but it can't be like that with us, Karen. Want to make like a dream catcher or some shit together? My mom loves turquoise. She just loves to wear anything Native American. She just loves it. She likes to drape herself in a very hostile amount of turquoise. And then she has this kind of like, she'll act very surprised whenever anybody notices one of the preposterous things she has. Like, she'll look like Chief Four Feathers, but somebody will be like, And then somebody will notice something and she has a modest play. She'll go, oh, thank you. I forgot that I had this on today. Isn't that fun? Meanwhile, it's like a Navajo graveyard covering her entire left breast. Really didn't skip your mind. She also pretends that she likes basketball. I don't know if anybody else has a parent that does this. My mom like swears that she loves, but I don't believe her. She's always like, I just love the NBA. I'm like, no one says that. They don't. If you like basketball, you don't just say the NBA. She goes, well, I don't like to miss a beat of the NBA. I find it so exhilarating. I like to see everything that happens. I'll bring binoculars. That's what a diehard NBA buff I am. And then she always has the most confusing things to say about the players. She'll be like, Allen Iverson has such wise eyes. I love watching. I'm like, he's not even playing anymore. He has amazing wise eyes. He's out there. I'll find him with my binoculars. The newest thing my mom's doing is like when we go out to like a Latin restaurant, she's decided that it's like respectful to order in a Spanish accent. She likes to kind of let everybody know that she's very sort of liberal and just kind of down with everything culturally. But it just ends up coming off as like vaguely racist, you know? Like, and her newest thing, yeah, she's decided it's more respectful to order in like a Spanish accent. So we're out at this restaurant. The waiter hates my mom so much. He's just glaring at her like, you awful white bitch. And she's this close to his face going, I love Latino culture. We had a wonderful trip recently to Nicaragua. I'm like, what was that, a bird call that you just did? She goes, we loved the people there. We found them so fascinating. They would just line up and weave all kinds of things by the side of the road. They made all kinds of incredible things. These beautiful young child slaves. Oh, they were marvelous. All you do is give them a quarter, they whip anything up for you. It's incredible, and they make it so fast. The Spanish are speedy. You can't give them any more than a quarter, though, because then they'll follow you, and they'll ruin your vacation. Then they start asking you for food and water. We don't fall for those tricks. Sometimes they try to go slow to get more dough out of you, but I'll give her a kick. I'll say, come on, bitch, you can go faster than that. Don't you fuck up my turquoise cape. I want to wear that to book club. Carmen, I call them all Carmen, just for fun. My mom hates that joke so much. She always goes, can you take that one out of your talent show? That's what she calls my stand-up, my talent show. I was an awkward kid. Like, nobody ever taught me how to be, like, a proper woman. I guess that's obvious at this point. You guys are like, we've already collected that information. I had a nanny that would, like, give me a lot of advice growing up, but it was never appropriate. There was something wrong with her, too. I'd just be, like, playing with my dolls on the floor, and she'd be like, only whores wear purple. I'm like, what just happened? She had a lot of specific rules about whores, and they never felt fair. She'd be like, only whores travel, which I thought was one of my favorite all time of her. You're take a trip, you're a whore. You're a disgusting whore. She goes, only whores carry suitcases. She goes, I'll tell you what they have in there. They have all sorts of little creams and rinses to cover their whoring. All kinds of little potions and powders to cover up the rancid things they've done. Knee pads and mouthwash. That's what they have in those slut sacks. Good night. That's how she tucks me in. Just lots of horror warnings. A musical good night and then lights out for everyone. She had the world separated into types of whores. We'd be just walking through the mall and she'd be like, you see that? She's an Eastern Seaboard whore. I'm like, what could that possibly mean? She also hated men. Women were just different types of suspicious whores. And then she didn't care for men either. She'd always warn me about men. She'd go, all men care about is your crotch. She was such a lovely woman. She really was. She'd go, men are like little cats. You know, they wait outside. Meow, 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 meow. They sit out there all day until you let them in, and then they just punish the crotch. That's all they want, that sweet crotch. And as soon as they're done with it, they go, meow, 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 to get right back out again. That's all they wanted, the crotch. I mean, she was correct, but I was 7 years old, and it was confusing for me. You guys got sad there. That was interesting. No crowd's ever done that. Oh. I really wanted to be Christian when I was growing up too. There was this girl in my school, and I just like wanted to be her. Like, her name was Caitlin. I wanted like a name like that was like sprinkled with Christ. And Rachel Feinstein. It's just an aggressive amount of Jewry. The only thing I could think of more Jewish than Rachel Feinstein would be like Rachel Menorowitz or just Jewy band, like hooray for Israel. Ah! And I just wanted like a soft Aryan name. And she had this long blonde hair, and I really wanted to be a blonde. And I had this like wild Jufro. So I got this piece of yellow yarn, and I would just place it over my head and go to school like that. I thought I was fooling everyone with this one piece of loose string just like placed over my hair. This one, and just tangled in my Jew's nest. I thought it was a real hot look. And she's one of those girls, like she had everything perfect. You know, like I was like a slovenly child, and she was like all organized, and her pencil case was incredible. I'm obviously still very angry about it. And her pencil case could do all kinds of shit, like little things would pop out of it, and like Koreans would jump out and do cartwheels into the air, and I'd borrow a pencil from her, and she'd like remember a few days later. Like she's one of those girls, like she really ran a tight ship, you know? She'd be like, I think on Monday morning in second period, you'd actually borrow. I'm like, it's gone, bitch, it's gone, all right? I had a lot of Jaeger. I have no idea where your pencil is right now. And I go over to her house, and like her family always had like better food and like stuff. Like they had like a Porsche, and we had this like fucked up Datsun that smelled like barf, you know. And yeah, they just had like cool things and stuff. And like, and her parents would watch those old movies from the 40s, and I'd watch them with her, and we like imitate the ladies. I think that's why I like to play that after sex polio game, if anyone's been paying attention. But I was obsessed with those old films because it always seemed like so easy to be a woman. Like you watch those old movies, like the women never really had to do anything. They were just like these wild idiots. They'd be kind of like lost in the woods a lot. There'd be a lot of like crawling, and then the men would come find them like they were a pet that got out at night. They'd be like, sugar tits, don't you run off like that. You know that brain's not made for thinking. They were like, oh, Johnny, it was real scary like out there. And I tried to do all sorts of things. I even made opinions up because my tits got confused. And you weren't there to beat me with the opinion stick. Oh, Johnny, I just want to go home and make cupcakes and giggle. Oh, Johnny, I'm scared. I like how at that time the men would always order for women in restaurants. Like, it wasn't even like a choice. Like, they would literally decide what they were going to have to eat. There was probably like a broad that got like a little cocky, a little out of line. She tried to order for herself. Like, she's probably like, I think I'll have the pot roast. Some guy was like, God damn it, Sally, shit! The fuck just happened? Shit, Sally? Why would you order for yourself, dum-dum? You know, the men know what your stomach needs. Come to think of it, how did you even get outside? We've got to put a safety latch on that damn door. You escaped through the fucking screen again, didn't you? Oh, Johnny, I'm sorry. I did escape through the screen. My tits got confused. How about we take you down to the goddamn lobotomy mill and take a sweet chunk out of your brain? How would that? There's a mill. I just made that up. The lobotomy mill. That's where they took them. Took a nice sweet chunk out of their brain. Oh, Johnny, I don't want to go to the lobotomy mill. So yeah, we'd watch those movies. I have no plan for tonight's set. I'm just trying to figure out what's not going to offend you guys. I live in Brooklyn now. I have this kind of like swarthy ethnic look, so like people always assume I'm from wherever they're from, like in my neighborhood, and they just harass me in that ethnic, like that kind of accent. It's nice. I just got like a nice like cross section of like trifling things said to me. Like Latino guys always think I'm Latin. They do this. They go, "Mami, don't do that shit to me, mami." And they will kind of wring their hands out like you poured a hot acid on them. Very confusing reaction to them. Come on, mommy, that's too much. Like, I'd be like, you're right, Jorge, I apologize. I was out of line. I should never have poured that hot acid on you. It was not cool. And like, I've heard a lot of like gross things. I heard one of my very favorite things though recently. I was walking with my friend. She gets harassed a lot because like she has these huge tits. She has the kind of tits that I think like men need time with, and they have questions. Like, need like help processing them. Like, I was just walking with her, and this guy sees her, and he just goes, "Damn titties!" like a shake, like that. He's like, "Damn titty!" Like, how you gonna do that to me, titty? Some men will actually just act like angry, like, come on, titty, nah! He honestly believed that her titties had physically thrown him off course. He was like, come on, titty, nah, titty. I'm like, how does he want that to end? Like, what would be his ideal ending to that comment? Like, she's gonna spin around like, yes, sir, yes. Titties, sir. Oh, I didn't know what to do with them shits, but now you're here. I think you ought to be the supervisor of them titties. I was in Vegas for a while. A lot of douchery in Vegas. That like I was sitting around with my friends, and actually, it's not even really that people are douches in Vegas. That people go to Vegas to be a douche. Like, it's kind of mean. We just picked, there's like this one spot that everybody just goes whenever they want to be like a complete unacceptable asshole. And they just smear their douchery all over this one place, and they come back and they're like reasonable again. But I was hanging out there, like, because I had to do a show, and there were these guys, and they came up to me and my friends. My favorite type's kind of like young, date-raping jocks, like just some guy looks like he just graduated from rape tech or some shit. And he was so drunk that he was sort of gently swaying, which I always find very arousing, kind of falling. And he went up to me and my friend, he goes, I would actually like to have sex with both of you ladies. He said it like it was a special Christmas offer. And he goes, he said it like it was just occurring to him what a tremendous deal we were being offered at that moment. He's like, both of you, like I was gonna be like, oh no, you're kidding, really? And then he goes, you're some lovely bitches. He called us lovely bitches, which is also a poem by Emily Dickinson. And he goes, I bet you ladies don't know what Vegas is all about. I was like, I don't know. You explain it to me. My tits are confused. And he goes, Vegas is about sex and money. He said it like that was a real revolutionary concept to come out about Vegas. I'm like, isn't that pretty much what it says in the brochure at this point? He's like, Vegas, all sex and money. No one's going to tell you straight like that but me. I'm like, but I thought Vegas was about eating organic and staying with the same person into the winter of their life. I thought Vegas was all about loyalty and love. Dedication. Now you mean to tell me that all this time Vegas and sex and money have been working together somehow in cahoots with each other? Well, if what you say is true, we've got to tell the detectives in Vegas. He did not care for my sass at all, this guy. He went like this to me. He just goes, He tried to erase me like I was a chalkboard. And he got frustrated when he couldn't erase me. He was like, I can't erase this bitch. I just made him a different race. I just realized that. That wasn't the same guy that originally was speaking to me a few minutes later, or earlier. Everything's confusing for us all, isn't it? And we took a cab there. We were all like really drunk. And you ever get in a cab and you just have some insane conversation with a cab driver where like everybody solves all the world's problems in like 2 minutes, but it's all complete bullshit, you know? Like no one's making any sense. Like we get in the car and I'm with like one of my friends, and then there's these two gay guys with us, and the cab driver goes, it's a gay people, it's okay with me, gay people. Like, and we're like, all right, yeah, gay people. He just gave them permission to be gay. They didn't ask for it, but he just granted them that, yeah. It's like everybody gives a hard time to gay peoples. And then he goes, I don't care, gay peoples. 2 pairs of pants, not a problem with me. That's how he wrapped up being gay, just 2 pairs of pants. He goes, 2 dresses want to marry a dress, want to marry a dress, that's okay. 2 dresses, no problem. Double dress, it's fine. I love gay people, yeah. We're like, yeah, gay people, 2 pairs of pants, whatever, fuck yeah, right? But everybody's racist against somebody. I don't know if you noticed that. Like, everybody, they're cool, and they're like, but let me give you one warning. And it's always just one strange interaction they've had with that race. It's so specific. The whole time he's like, L people, it's great. The Jewish people, I love the Jewish people. It's like, black people, it's great people, the black people. And he goes, the Albanian people, actually, it's shit people. Albanians not good. And then it's always so specific, the reason why they hate him too. He's like, never trade leather with Albanian. They'll give you a shit deal on leather. Never trade a leather belt with Albanian. They fuck you every single time. And I'm like, oh no, I was on my way to the leather emporium. The Albanian leather emporium. Please make a quick U-turn.
Never trade leather Albanian, never. It's completely shitted on every single time, it's true.
All right, one more thing before I get out of here. Enough about leather trading and Albanians. What else? I found one of my roommate's pornos recently. It was called Deep Inside Rachel's Rear, which was very confusing. Not just because my name's Rachel, but there's something too, like, enchanting about that title, too. Like, it sounds like the beginning of an old Welsh children's novel or something. Like deep inside Rachel's rear in a land far away. There are plenty of nooks and crannies to hide in. And the thing is, like, with porn, the women always seem very annoyed to me in most porn. Like, they make the same noises I make when I have to move furniture. I don't know how you guys stare at your computer screens during some of this shit and just don't laugh. It's so preposterous. They always act very irritated, like, oh yeah? You gonna fuck it? Oh yeah, fuck it. Ah. Whining. You can put it anywhere. I don't care if you stain it. Ah. Or they'll be too excited where it's not believable. They'll be like, fuck yeah. Are you gonna fuck it? Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. It's like, it's not a pep rally, Crystal. Relax. Or they'll look back like this. They get a little resentful all of a sudden. A little suspicious. They'll become like a detective that's trying to get to the bottom of things behind them. Like, oh yeah? Are you gonna fuck it? Yeah, fuck it. Ah. It's like, come on, Crystal. You knew that was gonna happen. But what I've been doing lately, like when guys say weird stuff to me in the street, I'll just talk back to them in the most heinous voices I know. My grandma's, like, or like my mom's voice, or like I was leaving like with this bar with my friends, and these guys walk up to us, and he goes, "You bitches should come back to our room, man. We've got vodka up the ass." That's also a poem by Emily Dickinson, by the way. Because we've got vodka up the ass. I go, that sounds wonderful. I'll tell you what, would you like a hand job when we get there? Wouldn't that be marvelous? Ah. What's wrong? I could do the Charleston and we'll read vodka up the ass poems together. I could rub one out for you. Ah. Thank you guys so much. That was the most confusing way I've ever ended a show. Thanks for having me here. It's good to be back home. Thanks again.
Thank you guys so much. One more time for Rachel Feinstein, everybody. Thank you guys. Have a good night. See you later. Taco Charlie.